Are you spending more time trying to fix your past and dwelling on your past rather than building your future? How many times have you sat there just sitting, wishing you had done things differently, wishing things could be different? You had responded differently, you had taken that opportunity. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm Sanj and welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that helps you navigate life's challenges by helping you to master your mindset so you can master your life. If you get something from it, please share it with someone who you believe would benefit from hearing it. I'd also really appreciate it if you could leave me some rating or review wherever you're listening to this. So Tony Robbins once said, "Your past does not equal your future unless you live there." So take a moment to think about that. It's so easy for you to get caught up in the trap of just dwelling on your past, on what could have been done differently, the mistakes you made, or the people you used to be. But what if I told you that actually that version of you, that past version of you, no longer needs your help? There's nothing you can do for it. You can accept it, you can actually forgive it, and then you can move on. But the person who's counting on you is your future self. That's the person counting on you right now. So this podcast is about why you need to stop dwelling on the past and start focusing on the future version of yourself, the one who really needs your help. But let's start with why we like to dwell on the past and actually how it impacts our present and our future. Because when we're dwelling on the past, it can actually feel oddly comforting. It's like replaying a movie that you're familiar with, one that just sometimes fills you with warm, fuzzy feelings. Sometimes it's a little bit scarier. And it's something you've seen 1,000 times. You know the plot, you know all the twists, the turns, the mistakes, and the moments that you wish you could change. But why do you keep hitting that rewind button? You start doing that because actually it's familiar. One of the reasons that you're dwelling on the past is because you're familiar. You know what happened, even if it wasn't great. But one thing it is it's predictable. And the thing is there's comfort in knowing what to expect. There's comfort in that knowledge that you know what the outcome was, even if it wasn't what you wanted it. But the problem is, the future, when you're thinking about the future, that's uncertain, that's scary, that's an unknown. So in a way, by reliving your old memories, even the painful ones, it just feels safer than stepping into the unknown of what your future could hold. Another reason why we like to dwell in the past is regret and the what if thinking. And how many times have you played that game with yourself? What if I hadn't have taken that job? What if I had taken that job instead? What if I had reacted differently? What if I had ended things when earlier? What if I had actually committed fully to the relationship? What if I had made a different choice? Things like that, it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't change anything. You've made that decision, and now the only decision you can make is whether you continue to dwell on it or whether you try and change your mindset so you can start focusing on the future. Make your choices today on improving your life. Take the past as a lesson. Regret is like a hook that just keeps you anchored to the past. It convinces you that if you just think about it enough, you may find some sort of peace or closure. But the truth is, dwelling on the past won't change it. In fact, excessive rumination and spending too much time thinking about the past events, what has happened, can actually lead to increased stress and even depression. And people who frequently dwell on past negative events are more likely to be depressed and less likely to actually make positive decisions for the future. Is that what you want? When you're focusing on the past, you rob yourself of the energy that could be used to build a better future. It's robbing yourselves of the happiness that you could be having in this moment. It's like trying to drive forward, but but constantly staring into the rearview mirror. You're bound to crash. You're gonna hit something. And well, the psychology of what this habit, this dwelling on the past does to us, psychologists, they call it rumination, which is a form of repetitive thinking where you're just stuck in an eternal loop, constantly replaying events and wishing you could change them. But the problem is that this mental loop actually creates a cycle of negative emotions which can rewire your brain to, as a result, expect more negativity. So by you ruminating on the past, just thinking about these negative events, you're actually going to start expecting more negativity into your life. It will also increase your stress, because when you're dwelling on the past, your brain is unable to distinguish between past events and current emotions. So when you're reliving the event, you're actually feeling the emotions that you were feeling then in the present. And so it's like reliving that stressful event over and over again. And when you're doing that, it actually activates your body's stress response repeatedly. And what then happens is you start getting things like chronic stress, and that can lead to a whole variety of health issues. Things like insomnia, a weakened immune system, and it can go so far as to something like heart disease, depression. It's by doing this, you're actually causing your own stress. The next thing is paralysis by analysis. I use this a lot because it happens so often. And when you're ruminating and when you're thinking about the past, you start to overthink your past. You start to overthink the choices you made, whether it was the right one or wrong one. And then you actually become paralyzed in the present, because you start second guessing yourself. You start losing confidence in yourself because you start thinking, actually, if I made that bad decision once, what's stopping me from doing it again? You start avoiding to take action because you're afraid of making new mistakes, and you end up staying stuck in a loop and unable to move forward. Another one is that you lose your creativity and motivation because your brain is too busy reliving old patterns and trying to solve old things that actually cannot be changed. So what this then does is it starts to kill your motivation to try new things or take new risks, because you're using your brain power elsewhere. So if you are killing your motivation, you're actually stunting any form of personal growth, any form of success. So at the end of it, living in the past, it doesn't only drain your energy, but it blocks you from seeing the opportunities in front of you. And the only way to actually move from that is realize that your past self has happened. It's gone. There's nothing you can do for it now. It's actually your future self that actually needs you. It's that future self who's depending on you. It's the actions you take today that will determine who that future self is. And there's a quote, again, I love my quotes. There's a quote from James Clear. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to be. And here's the reality. The person you're becoming, the person you'll be in 5, 10 years, or even next month, that's a version of you that needs your time, that needs your attention and needs your effort. It's so easy to spend all of your emotional energy, your emotional energy mainly, but it also moves into your physical energy on who you used to be rather than who you could be. Every choice you're making in the present actually is shaping your future self, your routines, your mindset, your actions. This actually continues from what I was saying in a previous episode, that all your current circumstances is a result of all the decisions and all the action you've taken up until this moment. So your routines, your mindset, your actions, all of those are creating the person you'll become. But if your focus is always on the past, then you're not going to give your future self a fair shot at success. Think about, what would the future version of you want you to be doing today? Would they be wanting you to dwell on an old mistake? Would they prefer you actually take some action and move towards your goal? Do they want you to spend time reliving a painful memory, or would they prefer that you're investing that time into something new, into actually creating a happier memory? When you focus on your future self, you're more likely to make healthier choices. You're more likely to achieve more. You're also more likely to experience greater life satisfaction. When you regularly Lily, visualize your future self. You're about 50% more likely to take action that aligns with your long-term goals. So now I've given you a bit of information about why thinking about your past self is not helping you and how you need to start thinking about your future self. Here are 4 ways, again, very easy, very simple to implement. Yeah. Number 1, practice gratitude for past lessons and then let them go. Realize that instead of dwelling on those past mistakes, reframe them as something you could learn from them. Look at your past as not something you regret, but something you can be grateful for because you get a lesson out of it. Every mistake you have made has taught you some sort of lesson that has made you stronger. It's made you smarter and it's made you more resilient. If you're struggling, write it down and actually see what the lesson was. Your past has served its purpose. The second thing is set future-oriented goals, because a lot of people do not set goals. And so if you start actually setting yourself a goal, a future-oriented goal, what do you want to be in the next 6 months? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? Start thinking about the person you want to become and what actions and what habits, what routines that person has. And start taking action today to become that person. Again, part of this as well is to visualize your future self daily. Just visualize who you want to be, what you want to be like, what your life looks like, how you feel, what you've achieved, all these things. When you actually start doing it, this daily practice actually starts to rewire your brain, so you start to focus on the future rather than the past. And it also helps keep you motivated to take action. And finally, this one is a big one. Create present moment habits. When you focus on habits that you can implement today that will benefit your future self, whether it's like a morning routine, a workout schedule, eating healthy, gratitude practice, when you start to build habits that align with your future goals, it makes so much difference. You start to feel happier. You start to feel more in control of your life, like you're getting everything on track. Those small changes add up over time. Remember, you don't need to fix your past. You need to come to terms with it, accept it. You need to build your future. The person you were is no longer here. The person you're becoming is the one who needs your focus, your time, your energy, your effort. So what action are you going to take today that your future self will thank you for? Take a moment to think about that. Are you going to build a new habit? Are you going to let go of regret? Are you going to start focusing on a future goal? What can you do today to build the life you truly want? Remember, you can't change your past, but you have full control over your future, and that is where your power lies. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If something resonated with you, please share it with someone who may need to hear it, or someone who may need to just let go of the past and start focusing on their future. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at just.live.coaching for more tips on how to master your mindset so you can start to master your life. As always, my mission is to make a positive impact on this world, and I sincerely hope you can help me do that by liking, by following, and by sharing this podcast with others. So until next time, focus on the future, take action today, and remember, you've got the power you want to create your life. Remember, your mindset shapes your reality. You master it and you'll master your life.